It is now day 20 of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and the destruction of cities around the country is evident. Drone footage of Mariupol in the south really captures it. Just bombed out, smoldering residential buildings as far as the eye can see. Russian airstrikes have also hit locations now in western Ukraine, including military targets near the border of NATO aligned Poland. The number of civilians dead is around 600, and the number of refugees is approaching 3 million, according to the United Nations. The U.S. is now looking to broaden its economic warfare beyond Russia in retaliation for this invasion. Washington claims that Moscow asked China for military assistance to continue its campaign in Ukraine. Russia also reportedly seeking economic assistance. U.S. officials warned Beijing that there would be consequences if such aid is rendered. Both China and Russia denied the accusations. Tensions, though, remain uncomfortably high. The Secretary General of the UN warned that a nuclear war is once again within the realm of possibility. Of course, it hasn't really ever left the realm of possibility, not since the bomb was tested in Alamogordo, New Mexico in July 1945, and then later dropped on civilian populations in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But there is hope that the conflict in Ukraine could end soon. Kyiv believes that the war can't last much longer than May. The Zelensky government says Russia will run out of resources to continue fighting by then. That's according to a government advisor who published a video on Ukrainian media outlets on Monday. If true, that could be motivating breakthroughs at the diplomatic table. The fourth round of peace talks between Ukrainian and Russian diplomats was held on Monday. Those negotiations are continuing into today, with both sides sounding optimistic that a draft agreement to end the fighting could be imminent. The capitalist press in the United States is calling on China to throw their citizens in the COVID meat grinder. The major export hub of Shenzhen is locking down amid a spike in COVID infections. All businesses are closed except those that deliver essential items, as citizens undergo testing to stop any potential spread of the virus. 60 new cases were reported in the province over the weekend. China has pursued a zero-tolerance policy toward COVID, and as a result, hundreds of thousands of fewer people have died of the virus compared to the United States. But China protecting its citizens is framed as a real annoyance to the West, which has dropped any semblance of a COVID mitigation strategy. As CNN Business reports, quote, "The world's second largest economy is still doggedly pursuing its zero COVID strategy, even as other nations reopen and try to live with the virus." Well, China should absolutely not follow the example of the US, a country that played host to almost 1 in 5 COVID deaths worldwide. Cases are on the decline here, but deaths are still averaging more than 1,200 per day, and it's likely that the case count will tick upward with restrictions relaxed. We're already seeing what could be the beginning of another wave in Europe, which throughout the pandemic has been a leading indicator of what might happen in the US. Now, it is true that China's lockdown will exacerbate supply chain issues and likely inflation, and because of the way policymakers operate in the US, this will harm the working class. Price increases will ramp up pressure on the Federal Reserve to do something about inflation. And on Monday, the New York Times ran a piece on Fed Chair Jerome Powell by noting that Powell admires former Fed Chair Paul Volcker. Volcker was famous for pledging to fight inflation in 1979 by saying, quote, "The standard of living of the average American has to decline." He then made it happen by hiking interest rates, which slowed economic growth, plunged the economy into a recession, and set the stage for the economy to be built according to the whims of the financial industry. Making the Powell-Volcker comparison even more troubling, raising interest rates will not address the root problem of inflation, which is profit-seeking, monopoly power, and supply chain issues like those in Shenzhen. The ruling class ain't actually interested in solving inflation. It just wants to crush worker power. Same shit, different day. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our new videos. Also, if you want to see Means Morning News in its complete form, not just the clips we post here, head on over to Means TV and get access to all our new episodes and our entire backlog. Plus tons of other great movies, and original TV shows.